Alistar Blitzcrank, just because they don't have a standard support. Like, several of them basically are top lanes. So they've got a number of top lane players who are going to be moving all over the team.
Now we got the first few bans out already. Soraka being banned, Urgot being banned. That's something I see a whole lot banned usually.
Yeah, I mean, Urgot's definitely, one of those tanky champs. If they think that they're going that kind of tanky comp, that's definitely the potential. And I think the big thing with the Soraka ban, I don't know, that Soraka's the strongest support. She's very good in some comps. You have that mana dependency when you've got the, strong caster mid. People like Xerath, Ziggs, a lot of poke comps need the Soraka. But Soraka Corki is a very strong bottom lane. But the big thing is, if East Coast is looking to run a really aggressive kind of low damage team where they're trying to pick people off, Soraka kind of counters that. She's got the heals, just burst heal people up and not allow them to pick up any kills.
Shyvana and Shen also being banned out. So this is latest patch. You see we got the Fjords in the mix, so Shen is buffed.
And
Dinh dealing a lot of trouble for everybody lately.
Shen's just ridiculous.
Shen is Shen.
The thing is, what are you going to do against Shen? Shen doesn't really lose lane matchups to anyone. And then as the game progresses, even if you're doing poorly, you can split push Shen. You always have some sort of versatility as far as your strategy. He doesn't have to. If Riven is a kind of all-in champions, lots of the top champions that don't have sustain, they're all-in champions. If you don't make it work early on, then what are you going to do? You've got to just group up with your team and hope all goes well. But
and the remaining bans coming in, Rise and RA2, fantastic AP mids. Good bans overall there. And first pick from the East Coast will be Janna.
And I think Janna had like a 75% win percentage at IEM this past week. I mean, Janna really is just the superior support right now. She was kind of balanced against all these sustained supports, but then Sona and Soraka being kind of reworked a little bit, nerfed really. Janna just has so much harass, coupled with a strong AD. So, that'll be interesting to see in their bottom lane.
Now we also got Kog'Maw and Nunu coming in from West Coast. That's your bot lane right there.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have Nunu support, and Kog'Maw's just been tearing it up lately.
And the big thing with Kog'Maw, the first couple of levels is actually kind of weak, but once he gets rolling, particularly like, level 6, when he can start spamming out that alt harass, he just has so much damage, and then couple that with a support like Nunu. Nunu's actually really interesting to see him coming up in the support ranks because the Blood Boil is great for late game. Kog'Maw's already the strongest late game carry. Give him that Blood Boil, that attack speed, that movement speed. He's going to be just a Gatling gun, basically. And then in lane, the Snowball, it's like a 4-second slow on a 6-second cooldown. So it's just, as far as anti-carry abilities go, Nunu can just sit there and slow Sivir all day while Kog'Maw is just dealing the damage. So even though they have the aggressive Janna support, that should be a pretty safe lane for Kog to farm in.
Or, we could also just be being trolled right now. He's actually going to be going AP mid. You never know.
Well, that's true. There is the potential for the AP mid. We
still have a few more picks to go. You never know.
AP mid's not... So we are seeing the AP mid Kog'Maw. Now that's...
I did actually think I was going to be right.
Well, this is actually interesting now because Sivir is actually really a safe laner, but Caitlyn, definitely the most aggressive harass lane down bottom as far as AD carries. Just great damage early game. They have lots of AoE, and Kog'Maw AP late game is just devastating. Like when you have got like that 1-second cooldown, just spamming out those mortar shots, basically.
You can't get away from it. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
But here's the question: is now they realize he's going mid. What potential picks do we have from East Coast to try and counter that?
In my mind, you need an aggressive ganker. They already had Udyr as their ganker. And Udyr, he is very aggressive, but he's a movement speed ganker. He needs to get in there. So Kog will have the slow to potentially not allow Udyr to gank. And that's going to be a big concern for them. Morgana definitely has that early game control, though. And as long as they have an aggressive early game team, then there's that potential that they can take over the game quickly, take those early dragons, take buff control, and then snowball from there. I'm actually really excited to see this Malphite pick because I'm assuming Malphite is in the jungle, and it's kind of a magic team. I think they started off and we had Sivir, Janna, and Udyr, and to me that signifies a physical team, but they almost baited out the Malphite pick because Malphite is a very strong counter against physical teams. He has that slow, which is just such a great anti-carry ability. The ultimate, will give them great team fight control, but now we've got Morgana, Vladimir, and then, Udyr is probably going to be Phoenix, which is going to be heavy magic damage. So, that kind of hurts Malphite a lot as far as, how strong he is going to be in this matchup.
And that's we're also probably going to see Will the Ancients built on Vladimir, so everyone's going to, Morgana has the passive also.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot of Spell Vamp also coming in from the East Coast team if they build it just right. And then a potential last pick for West Coast. We got Aurelia being hovered over. Probably going to, oh, wait, no. What?
Oh, I think we're getting the Akali.
Are we getting the Akali?
We're getting the Akali.
Ooh.
Now, my concern with Akali is we've got the Sivir spell shield, we've got the Morgana shield. How is Akali going to be effective? It should be a pretty easy top lane for Akali. Akali can sit there and farm and potentially get in the game. Some early aggression would be awesome. But I don't know what's going. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen against all these supports. It's kind of a heavy support comp for Sivir to be dealing her damage, and Sivir does have great sustained damage late game, particularly when we've got all these melees that are just going to be taking that harass. But at the same time, the aggression of Akali in team fights should bring up a little bit of pressure off of Kog'Maw, and they're just going to have such great poke with Kog and Caitlyn that they can wear down the enemy, and then with the AoE of Nunu and Malphite, keep them alive in those long fights.
So for anyone just joining us, if you're brand new to League of Legends, what just happened here? We did have our pick and ban, so these teams are now banning out champions and picking champions. They'll be using it to play in the forthcoming game. And yeah, we'll definitely explain a little bit more as we go along too for anyone out there who happens to be new. But these we got our teams ready. We got our teams set.
What I want to know is, what do you guys think? Who's going to win this game?
Yeah.
We've got East Coast and West Coast. East Coast, give a scream now.
If you think East Coast is the king, let me hear you scream.
Nothing? Go Dyrus.
We got
there
Dyrus.
we go.
We got some Dyrus.
And West Coast, can we get a little holler for West
Scream
Coast?
for the Bay Life. You got screams for the Bay Life.
Uh-oh.
Bay Life, bro. I like it. I like it. So we got West Coast.
Everyone talks about the skin advantage. They've got the crowd advantage here. Like you said, the Bay Life fan base.
We got it. We got it. It is here. It is present. Absolutely. So yeah, we also do have also for anyone out there who is new, we do actually have a small delay getting into the game. We delay by 3 minutes. Just they are here. They're also here on the sides of the stage. We don't want to give away too much pertinent information while they're playing. So don't want to be like, oh, he's in the bush, get him. No, we don't want to be doing anything like that.
And we are actually playing on the live realm, so all the changes that you've seen happening recently, they are live. I'm just looking at some of the runes real quick. Westrice, having all of that damage and ability power, will be able to get the Twin Fang up right away, the Twin Discipline. So we'll see. That should be a really aggressive top lane. Vladimir should be pretty safe in that top lane, though. But once Vladimir, once Akali gets some levels, we could see some quick aggression, and that's going to be tough. I mean, Vladimir's going to watch that he doesn't allow Akali to burst him down.
Yep. So now, who do you think's going to be doing better in the jungle here? We got Dinh on Malphite, we got Lapaka on Udyr.
Well, it's interesting. Malphite is actually a really quick jungler. He, you kind of don't think of him as that. You think of the DPS junglers as really fast, but he's got tons of AoE damage. His W gives him that cleave, so he's able to clear the creeps very quickly. But Udyr definitely has the speed advantage. Udyr top tier as far as speed, so going to have some jungling potential. Countering might be kind of interesting because Malphite's pretty fast in the jungle and does have the slows, so Udyr's not going to necessarily be 1v1ing Malphite in the jungle. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to early ganks, and Udyr definitely has the advantage as far as early ganks. I mean, I'm not, Malphite, he does have the slow. He can provide great damage in team fights, but he's really like a faster Warwick. That's what he is. He needs to wait till level 6, farm for the most part, and then try and control the game from there. And it'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of it's going to come down to who has the early advantage. Most of the lanes, I would say, are going to the East Coast, but that bot lane with Caitlyn and Nunu is incredibly aggressive down south, though Sivir and Janna should be safe there.
Yeah, we got the aggressive lane down bot, we got the AP Cog in mid, and of course, we got the crowd support. So I think I'm going to give it to the West Coast for now.
The crowd support, that's the defining factor in this game.
Is. It really is. It really is. If they're down, if they get that huge kill, we're gonna hear it. We're gonna hear that thunderous roar, especially from that guy. Yep. There we go. We are loading up in game, and remember, for everyone at home, tweet at KingstonHQ and IGN Pro League who you think is going to win. We're gonna pick one of you, and you'll get a 120 gig solid state drive. It is a Kingston Hyper X. And once again, thank you to those guys for bringing that to us.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you to AMD as well for helping us out today, supporting IPL, supporting esports. Yeah. So, loading up
so
into the game.
Thank them. Facebook.com/AMD. I don't know. I'm incredibly excited to see how this game's going to go. Can't you tell I'm excited?
I can tell.
Can you tell, AJ?
I can tell. I can tell on dividends. So
I'll go with that. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean. I'm slightly puzzled here, but that sounds perfect.
So for everyone brand new to LoL, so we do have 3 lanes. We got the top lane, we got the mid lane, we got the bottom lane. We have all of our champions here. They are scattering. We're gonna have 1 in each, killing all the neutral creeps in the jungle, looking to see if they can't kill anyone in lane. And right now, West Coast is making their way, putting down the ward, getting some vision on those wraiths, seeing what they can do. But right now, East Coast is now gathering in that bot bush. So
yeah, both teams are really looking for an aggressive engage here. And we do have the Morgana Snare coupled with the Udyr stun. If they can get up here and then stealing that blue buff will definitely slow down Malphite's jungle. So Malphite, we did see Team West Coast coming mid, trying to get some vision, but East Coast is coming up here and they're making their move. Yep. They're actually going to hide in this tri-brush coming towards bottom lane. So that's actually a great, angle to take.
There's a trap right there. Their cover could get blown. Dark binding going out. No one's going to be there. Watch out for that trap. They know it's there. Don't step in it.
And I love the blind bind from Morgana, trying to, not give an opportunity for a flash. They're actually going to back out of here. So I was kind of thinking they'd wait around until Malphite, you would expect he's going to do the wolves. So they are actually coming up here.
He's getting a little bit too far out. They know he's there. West Coast is going to back off just as a precautionary measure. They know someone's screwing around. They know someone's screwing around in their jungle, so just going to go ahead and back off. They're going to start wraiths right there.
And they will be able to steal this blue buff from Malphite, which is really going to hurt his early jungle. He needs to be spamming abilities in order to be clearing the jungle. But we'll have to see how it goes. So early advantage. Udyr already the stronger jungler, and then stealing this blue is going to hurt.
Yep. Atlanta, Nhat Nguyen going down bot lane. Blood Boil going down to Caitlyn. That's going to give her a whole bunch of buffs. Attack speed, movement speed, all that good stuff. Mid lane, we got the AP Cog. Boost 3 potions going up against Morgana. TakashiX piloting her. And then, so Dan's got his red. He's level 2. He's looking hungry. He wants to get revenge for losing that blue. And right now, Dyrus is actually looking pretty tasty.
Yeah, I mean, Vladimir at level 1 is definitely when he's most vulnerable. He doesn't have the pull yet. He started off with the transfuse, and Dan does have the red buff. He's actually coming in now. He's going to be able to get the slow. There's the slow, and he's going to get some good damage off here, chunking Vladimir a little bit. So a huge early advantage for Westrice in that lane.
Yep. Not quite a kill, but I mean, we didn't waste any summoner spells either, but we've got some damage on. He's going to be playing a little bit more defensively, knowing that Dan's nearby. And that's a mind trip too. I mean, that's a teammate ganking another teammate. That's not a situation you're very often in. Westrice coming in. Dyrus got the shroud down.
Oh, he actually missed the Q, so kind of, I don't know, avoiding a little bit of damage there. I'm kind of curious this bottom lane, how this matchup's going to go. It's, it should be pretty safe for Sivir and Janna, but Janna tends to push the lane. That's, a pretty common sight, particularly with Sivir. Sivir also pushes the lane. Right now, because of the control that they have, Atlanta and Nat are pushing that lane, but we'll see later whether they can maybe zone MashMe a little bit. I mean, Atlanta definitely probably a more practiced AD carry than MashMe.
I know Atlanta is a very versatile player. I mean, he's played pretty much every role professionally.
Yeah, I've seen him play Karthus mid. He was big with Irelia top. He's jungled for Team Goose, now Team MTW.
Yep.
Udyr coming mid, trying to get some ganks. Not really a whole lot of opportunities, and top is actually pushed really far.
Dyrus is a little bit too far out. He's taking a turret hit, but here comes Dan. He's coming into the bush. Shroud going down. We will have vision on Dyrus is going into the bush. Dan, are you going to make a
He's got to go in. I mean, Westrice is already chasing out Dyrus. Dyrus
is waiting for him to move it back forward. Here comes Dan. Can we get the
he's going to have that red buff again.
He has Ghost. He does not have Flash. He won't be able to get away as easy, but...
And Dyrus doing an awesome job there, pulling to avoid the Q. It does pop projectiles.
Lapaka's coming up. He's got the support. But the Dan is still in the neighborhood, so Lapaka's going to come in. He got the bear. He's charging through. Will he get that stun? No, he will not. So we got 2-on-2 up top lane, mid. TakashiX is actually doing pretty well against Salce. Bot lane, New those blood boils.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to have great damage output from Caitlyn. If, you know, we can see some harass from MashMe and TreeEskimo, then the lack of the heal will hurt them a little bit.
Yep.
But, you know, so far it seems to be doing okay. Caitlyn taking a little bit of damage, but she's going to be fine. And, you know, Sivir actually getting a nice boomerang there, chasing her down with that shield. And then Westrice zoning out Dyrus a little bit top.
Good damage happening down bot lane. Atlanta's getting poked out a little bit. MashMe's doing pretty good for himself. Spell Shield is going to go ahead and eat that trap, get a little bit of free mana while he's at it. So. And
it's interesting to see how even Vladimir versus Akali is. And Vladimir definitely a little bit weak early. We do have Lapaka coming in, is going to come after these creeps, and that's going to be pretty vulnerable for Westrice. Doesn't have enough for the Shroud yet. Does now, but actually using the Qs, so that would have been a great opportunity for Lapaka to come in. He's kind of just biding his time in this brush. I guess he wants to see Westrice engage and just use the Shroud. But he's actually coming in now. He does have that red buff.
Around again, going down on Westrice. We can't see him in the Shroud. He is stealth, but Lapaka's just going to stick around in the bear stance, see if he can't get the vision he needs. Westrice
should be a kill.
Retreating
there
away,
he is,
going down
chasing
the river.
him down.
Bear stance. You are a bear. How do you run away from a bear? Answer: you don't. Or you get a flash off. You get the flash over the bear wall. Yes. But will Lapaka chase? No.
Wow.
Here we have the fighting for
Takashi.
Oh, that's very low. 50 health. Waiting for the Shroud to come out. Salce's coming in to help a little bit. Lapaka flashes in. And he gets the first blood.
Wow. And the crowd goes wild. TakashiX coming over there with the blind snare.
Good stuff. Good stuff in Atlanta, actually being chunked out quite a bit. Is slowed. Boomerang coming in.
Oh, the boomerang double.
Nets into both hits of the boomerang.
Yeah, he had to use his heals, so just barely getting out of there. They do have 2 heals, though, so one of them is still up.
Yep.
And Salce mid, you know, a little bit behind Morgana, taking early control of that lane. That's definitely, you know, the weakness of Cog. But once he can get that blue buff in mid, he's definitely going to have some great lane control, can just clear creep waves, do a little bit of counter jungling, and just, you know, spam his abilities to clear those creeps.
Atlanta's really relying on that net to try and get away from these engagements. But, you know, also just realized this, too. We have Morgana and we have Sivir. We have 2 spell shields on East Coast.
Yeah, along with the Janna shield, so there's lots of, you know, Akali, that strong assassin champion. Who is she going to assassinate? We have all these spell shields.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, and Lapaka actually coming up to steal this blue buff, and that's going to be key because Kog'Maw really needs it.
Dan knows.
So he's actually going to be here. Did not get the smite steal.
Lapaka does get the enemy blue.
So, yeah, awesome job. Early jungling advantage going to Lapaka. We talked about that Udyr versus Malphite matchup, and then bot lane. Now that, you know, Janna's got a couple of levels, we're starting to see some great control from East Coast.
Yep, and if there's one thing that Sivir's extremely good at, it's pushing down towers. I mean, she has her ultimate, she has the ricochet, she has every tool she needs to force creeps to tower to make the other team play defensively. And that's exactly what Atlanta and Nhat Nguyen have to do. They have to just only really farm very close to their tower. But it looks like Westrice is going to be past red here from Dan.
Yeah, that's going to be really tough for top lane Vladimir. You know, now that Westrice is level 6, going to have a lot of great control there. We saw Takashi putting the ward mid, so is going to be safe in that mid lane. But then also one of the strengths is that, you know, you can push the lane very easily as Morg and then go steal some jungle creeps. But we have Dan coming up here, going to get the slow on Dyrus, just going to back out. Dyrus recognizing the danger, seeing that red buff Akali come into lane.
He's taunting as he's recalling, but just going to go ahead and eat a pancake.
But still, he's got to play really safe right now because, I mean, he knows that Malphite's not level 6. He's actually going to walk into the brush just to see that he's there. Westrice going to jump to him, get some great damage off early, and burning the flash, or the ghost,
Ooh, unfortunate. But hey, it's laugh a little bit less maybe, I don't know. And right now, Atlanta and Nhat Nguyen are actually pushing in return, showing that yes, they do also have the capabilities to push to tower, but looks like the East Coast is going to be getting a little bit of an advantage in this way. MashMe does have the boomerang available.
Well, the big thing is, I mean, those Caitlyn traps. Caitlyn, you know, has the great auto attack, but she's also a very, you know, kind of spell DPSer, and so it's pretty easy for mana, you know, Sivir to keep up on mana, so she can just clear those creep waves very easily, farm very well at the tower.
So go ahead, Westrice will be recalling, got the revolver. That's going to keep the sustainability in the lane up quite a bit.
Oh, wow, TakashiX.
From TakashiX going down on Salce. Salce does cleanse out.
Takashi missed the snare. I mean, he had the stun from his ultimate, and if he could just wait a second, he would have had the free snare with the ignite, probably able to pick up that kill. But the blue buff will allow him to continue harassing down Cog, and we actually see West Coast is coming down for this first dragon. They have a huge advantage here. You know, East Coast not really grouped.
Everyone from West Coast, everyone from West Coast is here to take this dragon. There's not really a whole lot East Coast to do about it. I mean, Vladimir's up top lane. Everyone's a little bit scattered, so that's just gonna be free dragon for West Coast. And with that, the gold is equalizing here. And it's only about a 400 gold difference, which is not too much.
But TakashiX is waiting for Westrice. Westrice doing a good job throwing that ward in there, kind of recognized he might have been baited in. And Udyr is actually going to be coming up as well. We do have Morgana throwing off the snare, isn't going to be able to get anyone. So Westrice should be able to get out of there. Lapaka just stealing a couple of minions.
Westrice trying to keep the enemy team at bay in their own jungle. All the while bot lane still having fantastic exchanges. Atlanta got pretty low in their last little skirmish there.
Yeah, MashMe's done a fantastic job of hitting those boomerangs. Just able to spam all day because of those Caitlyn traps, replenishing his mana. So honestly, this early, it is very even right now. But West Coast, they have a fantastic late game team with Kog'Maw, with the assassination potential that Akali brings to the table, and for them to be getting good early farm to be able to take that dragon is just huge. But Vladimir actually almost taking down this top tower, and now that he's level 9 and has that revolver, can sustain very well against Westrice, actually throwing off the ignite. So Westrice is going to have to get out of there.
The top tower is now gone. First tower goes to East Coast. Going to enjoy a little bit of gold from that.
And we have Salce just spamming out on TakashiX a little bit here. He will have plenty of regen, so should be fine there. I'm kind of curious, when we'll start seeing these teams group up. Now that Vladimir has pushed down that tower, whether we'll see some really aggressive play, a double boomerang once again from MashMe onto Atlanta. But they definitely have tons of AoE damage. I would really be surprised to see them give up that next dragon when it comes back in like 4 minutes.
Salce, he's alone in mid, get a little sandwich going on.
Oh, the
right
snare,
now, flashing from Lapaka. Salce has to flash away, trying to get it cleanse off. Will he fall? Yes, he will. But can Lapaka get away? I'm not sure if he can. Will he explode? Yes, he will pick up the kill. Even trade, but
did Lapaka need to be that aggressive under tower? I mean, Salce or Takashi hitting the long range snare. Wants to steal their blue once again, but they don't really have that option because now we have Dinh, Nhat Nguyen, and Atlanta all coming up here.
Takashi's getting a little bit aggressive going for that blue, but the rest of West Coast is there. Vlad ult goes down. Atlanta getting very low. Will the Vlad ult finish him off? No, it will not. That way he's in the middle. He's ulting. Dyrus is caught. He's getting slowed, but now West Coast is in the retreat. Binding misses. MashMe would be able to do something. No.
So being able to zone them out without the jungler there, they're going to take once again another blue, and Cog really needs those blues. Is actually going for a very mana-hungry build. He's already a mana-hungry champion, but recognizing that if he doesn't get blues and is going kind of an AP build early, then he would just really be screwed.
Lapaka just fending off Westrice from now, taking down the top tower. Salce returning to mid, looking at TakashiX. It's like, that's my blue. I want it back. And MashMe and TreeEskimo going to go ahead and back. What will they be buying? We'll find out in a moment.
I mean, Sivir definitely has enough item. There is that BF sword. And then the needlessly large rod for Morgana. I'm going to expect that's going to be turned into a Zhonya's, but they could definitely deal with some burst if she made that into a Rabadon's and just be able to pick up some kills, particularly if she can get in on Salce. But the flash ultimate on top of Kog'Maw, if she has that Zhonya's, could really win them fights quickly.
Salce seeing Lapaka in mid. Their red is up, so he's probably going to go ahead and grab that for himself or possibly give it over to Sivir. Westrice is also playing D in the mid lane. Dan up top, saying hi to Dyrus, saying, how you doing? I miss you.
I don't know if I've seen Takashi really miss a snare all day. He's just throwing them out there, picking people off. We have the slow from TreeEskimo onto Atlanta. There's a boomerang. He's going to net out of there.
Atlanta just nets right in time to miss the hits from the boomerang.
But I mean, definitely an even lane down bottom. Sivir just slightly behind, but with the lane pushing for Caitlyn, it is very even. The snare almost getting Salce.
That is almost, but we have 3 members of East Coast in mid. Gonna be pushing down the tower. How much damage does that ult do? It's a fair amount, and it's a very low cooldown too, but right now, we got a support battle here going on. MashMe pops the ult to help TreeEskimo get away, but now will Nunu be able to get away? We got the slow coming from Jam. We got the tornado. We got the exhaust. We got 4 members of East Coast trying to chase down the support. Nunu just stops. Just stands still and accepts his fate. But right now, TakashiX is actually peeking out from behind tower, getting the ult down on Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't really have much. He's got nowhere to go.
Wow.
He's got nowhere to go. Westrice now comes in to get the support. Janet ult going down to push Westrice away. Flashes to be a little more aggressive. Gets the stealth down. They know Westrice there. He has to kick in front of the tower.
He's going to get Takashi.
Trying to get away. Takashi's right there. Takashi can't fall. Westrice, one more hit. Yes. Wow.
So we're talking about the dream team. We have Team Epic on the West Coast and East Coast just pulling out all the stops. Takashi has been unbelievable so far this game. And they are going to back, and then when they come back, Dragon will be up. So I would expect to see them all grouping up there for a huge Dragon fight. Try and extend that early advantage.
That was a fantastic, fantastic fight for East Coast. Getting all that farm on those carries. Morgana's got a pretty heavy wallet now. It's 5K gold total is pretty good. And yeah, we're almost at that Zonia's.
And I think a lot of it comes down to we have all this great AoE team fight. We have tons of disables, Janna, Morgana, Udyr as well. And then, where's the fight control for Team West Coast? They have the ultimate from Malphite. They should be able to protect Cog, but Morgana actually coming up here is going to try and throw a snare, actually missing Salce, and Lapaka in the middle of them. Nhat Nguyen going down very quickly. Sivir able to pick him off. Actually, Lapaka able to get it, and Lapaka coming into Din is going to pick up another kill. There's TakashiX with the ultimate. Westrice is going to go down. MashMe able to fight back into the Dragon, and there's another kill, and now they're going to be chasing down Salce.
Oh, he flashes away.
But can TakashiX hit the blind snare? He's going to be going for it.
Good. Nope.
Oh,
juked out, but here comes Lapaka coming around. Can get another bear stance. Can we get in? That bush is worse. You know exactly where Salce is going.
He's got
one more bear. There's the bear. Well,
oh,
juke in the bush. Salce, can you get it? No, and he will be punched. Yes.
But there we go. So 10-3 for the East Coast.
Look at that.
Wow. And it's that flash ultimate from Takashi. I mean, able to do so much damage, just no control so far from the West Coast. And this is another, this is actually the first Dragon for the East Coast, taking a 4K gold advantage early.
And everyone was hovering around Dragon. Both teams had it warded. Both teams had the timer. And, West Coast had the superior positioning. They were there. They were in the pit.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Flash ult. Too strong.
And we do see an Oracles on Janna going to continue taking that map control with this strong early game team that they have. And then what is Akali going to be doing in the team fights? I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to kill Janna in these fights. And that's just going to be a hard counter. So we'll see, whether or not we can see this East Coast team continuing to put some pressure on the West Coast.
Yeah, Janna, I mean, there's a reason she's one of the top supports right now. Look at all that control. You got the tornado, you got the slow, you got the ult for displacement. All around fantastic kit. And even then you look at the bot lane, you have Nunu, you have the Blood Boil, but for the trade-off, you don't have a heal bot lane. And he's not really going to be able to contribute that much in team fights either if they keep getting shut down like this. He's just going to get Blood Boil and an ult if he can land it later on. And
Salce is really excited right now because he just got his first blue buff of the game. That's a big deal for him.
No, let's go give some applause. He finally got that blue buff. Give him a clap.
Oh, Dyrus. Dyrus out of position. The snare from Takashi once again is going to let him get out of there. Lapaka was up there jungling as well. And Morgana with the ultimate and the ignite. The ultimate from Vladimir. There's another kill. Salce going to try and throw out some damage, but that's it. Another snare from Morgana.
So anyone new to us, one of Kog'Maw's abilities that when he dies, he can run for a short time and explode. He did get that kill early on in the game, but as they keep killing him, that damage he does when he explodes is going to become less and less and less significant.
And Takashi, he did get that Zonia's, so he's going to be able to just be really aggressive. Caitlyn and Cog, they have great range, but if you get up in their face...
Oh, Westrice is waiting. Can he steal that red? Can he steal that red away? Can he get the kick? Yes!
Oh, wow.
That's it! Oh,
Lapaka
wow. And now he's trying to
chases
run
down.
away. Can he get away, though? That's the only problem.
Can Lapaka get away is the question. I'm surprised Westrice didn't turn on him, but to be fair, he didn't know where the enemy team was.
Yeah.
We saw Vladimir mid, but Takashi hadn't come into lane yet, so he's scared. I mean, he's playing on edge. He doesn't want to run into those Morgana binds anymore.
But it also speaks to the fact, where West Coast's position is right now. He had to steal his own red buff. It's like breaking into your own house, even. Lapaka still getting vision on Westrice, knows Akali is still top lane. TreeEskimo, wonderful work with the Oracles, clearing out all those wards, and mid tower being pinged by East Coast. They want to take that thing down.
And that's going to be a huge concern. How far Akali is in this game. Has almost no damage so far. Just, Akali has naturally a lot of damage, but when they have that Oracles, when they already have all these AoE disables, what is Akali going to do? She's going to jump into Morgana, who's going to throw off the spell shield on someone and then, use the ultimate. That's a quick kill. It's going to be really tough for the West Coast to get back into these early team fights. So it's a lot of it's going to come down to whether or not they can farm Cog, because Cog does have those that clearing capability, can just push down those waves, stall out the game, and then late game has the poke to win it.
West Coast pushing down the mid tower. There's not a whole lot West Coast can do about it. We'll go ahead and fall. Kog'Maw did buy Rod of Ages, but it's a little bit of a late rod. In order to get the full stacks on Rod of Ages, you have to buy it and then wait 10 minutes to get the rest of your stats on that. So I'm not sure how well that's going to serve him in the meantime.
Well, the big thing is that Cog has just naturally a lot of damage from his ultimate, so if he's able to spam out his ultimate all day, then, that's what he wants. So we actually, oh wow, I thought Takashi might throw off a snare there as the creep died. I wouldn't be surprised to see the East Coast start grouping up for Baron. They have, a pretty tanky Udyr. They have the Will of the Ancients, so Sivir pushing bot lane, and then probably after she gets some momentum on that lane, will come up to Baron with her team.
West Coast, they're now doing their push, trying to get as much damage as they can. Dan Vega running point, getting those shards, getting those pancakes off to slow the enemy team when they can. They're going to try and push back on this mid tower. Vladimir's up top lane. He's coming back to reunite with the rest of the team.
Wow.
But look at Sivir doing what she does best, pushing towers. And now West Coast is noticing what they've been up to in the meantime while they've been pushing mid.
Yeah, and
so now they're scattered. They're a little bit scattered right now. They're scattered in their own jungle, and right now East Coast has the advantage of positioning. But can TakashiX get off the? Oh no! Right now, Nhat Nguyen being focused down in the corner. TakashiX will fall. Atlanta now jumping into the fray, just getting stunned by the bear. Westrice now alone, and just East Coast just individually piecing apart every single member. West Coast, and now the push will continue again. Dragon should be coming up any moment.
And they're not even able to grab the Oracles off of Janus, so being able to hold on to that for a long time is huge. We almost saw Morgana go down before she could do anything, which that would have been their advantage.
I was worried. I was like, she's getting CC'd down. I was like, where's the ult? Where's the shield? Can you get it? I mean, they got the jump on her, but they lost the battle.
Yeah, and one of the things with a heavy AoE team is that jungle fights, they're fantastic for your team. When you get everyone clumped up together, that's going to be really strong. So Sivir split pushing bottom, Vladimir split pushing top some. They already know that in a 4v5, East Coast is probably stronger at this point. So being able to split push draws the West Coast out of position. They've got to run back and forth from all the lanes, and they can use that advantage to try and get, a good initiation with Morgana.
So I'll say trying to get the wards down, just so you can get vision. Just because the other team has an Oracles doesn't mean you should stop buying wards, just so you know where the enemy team may or may not be. Dragon is up, not a whole lot West Coast can do about it, but while they're doing that, Salce's just going to go ahead and grab their own food while they still can. But Dragon is done. Will he be able to finish it in time? Here
it's resetting!
Oh no!
Oh,
Salce barely being able to leak. Here comes the bear stance. Ult from Sivir going down extra boost speed here. Salce being focused down. Will he be able to get away? Dan trying to help as much as he can. MashMe comes down with the auto text. TakashiX misses the finding.
Almost another
right
snare
here
from Morgana.
But Westrice is alone. Lapaka come in. We got the bear stance. Once again, getting the chase down. Here's the stun on a Westrice. Trying to get away, but here comes Dyrus. The shroud goes down, and he will die in his own stealth.
I'm a little bit surprised that Takashi used the ultimate there, but they were able to pick up the kill. They actually have a great Baron opportunity here.
I think they're going for it. I think they're going for it.
the big concern is if they use up too much mana going for this Baron, and actually Sivir's going bot, so they're just going to take their blue.
Yep.
You know, at the same time, because of how far ahead they are, Baron is kind of a risky prospect. If you allow the West Coast to come in and steal it, that's really one of their, I don't know, best opportunities to get back into this game.
MashMe down bot, going to continue pushing bot lane, make a nice little distraction for the rest of the East Coast team. TreeEskimo still got that Oracle, so still doing that counter warring. You know, these little wards that you see right here scattered along the map, that gives each team vision of the respectable area they place them in. And in League of Legends, vision is indeed everything. Look at all these wards placed in the enemy jungle on the East Coast team. Look at the East Coast jungle. Clear, free, no wards. They have all the wards from West Coast are placed defensively. Baron, we got these bushes here over by the important buffs. Even double wards if you need to.
And, you know, with the early Oracles, even if they're not going to go for Baron, I expect that we'll see East Coast to clear it. And there's actually another snare from Takashi onto Salce. A little bit of damage from Dyrus, but I would expect they'll at least try and bait it out, because if they can get them to come down this river, be all kind of corralled, you know, they will have some great, you know, capabilities there. They're actually, it seems to be pushing mid, so, you know, they're definitely strong enough where they can probably do that. And if they all group up, Takashi, we might see a Flash ultimate from him.
Ultimate is up, Flash. Flash is actually not up yet for TakashiX, so we do not have it available yet. But once this next minion wave pushes, we might be able to get it. And Atlanta getting found from downtown. Dyrus doing the pushing on the tower. So here, now we really see West Coast is on the ropes. Second tier tower here. They're waiting for the next minion wave. Getting pushed. Another binding going down from Morgana. TakashiX really on the point with those. Here comes the next push. Traps going down, and West Coast is wisely backing off. Second tower gone in mid.
Takashi just doesn't miss those. So yeah, they are coming up mid. Takashi just doing a fantastic job with those snares.
Next, trying to get those snares, trying to catch people off guard. Even then, even if you don't do anything with the snare, it does so much damage just on its own. Like, that's like a quarter of Atlanta's health, and the wave's on him. But another binding going down, and miss that. Next minion wave, here comes the next big push. Traps going down from Atlanta. See if we can't catch anybody, but here comes the next push. Shard going down from Dan, trying to slow people down. Binding coming in Atlanta. Look at that. Wow. Quite a bit of damage from that binding just on its own. So here we see the slow push. East Coast knows they can just go ahead and push slow and steady like this, and they'll just wear down the other team.
And if they can bait them into MashMe as MashMe's poking down this tower, then, you know, they've got all these AoE ultimates to, you know, surprise them. I mean, it's not really a surprise, but another binding on Nhat Nguyen, and they're actually going hard on this tower here. MashMe taking a lot of damage, is going to back out now. And actually, Westrice is coming in, going to back out once again. But those, you know, Kog'Maw hits, they're starting to take their toll.
Yep. East Coast is being pushed back in mid there in a little bit of a retreat. Minion wave is going to come up. I think they've overextended a little bit too much. They've gotten way too far away from the tower. Sivir's ulting in. They're going in pursuit. Will they dive? They're waiting for the wave. Backing off.
Yeah, they do have pretty good initiation with the Shurelya's and with Sivir's ultimate, but they are actually starting to get kind of low, so they're going to want to back out there. And that's, you know, the poke that Kog'Maw and Caitlyn have, so pretty excellent job there. And now they're actually going to come and see if they can take this mid tower in retaliation.
If they do decide to push, Morgana, Flash is now up, ult is up, so if they push this tower, you get a nice flash ult from TakashiX. That might just seal the game if they decide to engage. They'll take the tower, retreat away.
And I think the big concern right now for the West Coast is they need to get their damage up. In order to be able to, you know, win some of these fights, in order to prevent the East Coast from just pushing straight down this lane, we need a little bit more than a Wriggles and a pickaxe on Caitlyn.
See, now they're running back. They're trying to get back to their tower before East Coast can, but they have to retreat back through their own jungle.
And they're zoned now. They can just actually go right on this tower.
Take the tower, take it down. Should be easy for them while West Coast is trying to get back in. Shurelya's being popped. Ultimate from Malphite coming in. This is the last stand, I think, right here.
And it's not looking good as far as last stands go. Westrice actually jumping onto Takashi, but with the shield is going to be okay, and then able to pick up the kill there. They've cleared out everyone. This is going to be a GG. We have the ace, we have the inhibitor. They're going to keep pushing. Everyone, your East Coast team has won it. Game number 1.
They will take down these towers, and then they will take the Nexus, and then they will take the game. And then we don't even get to that. We got the surrender vote. Game 1 going to East Coast.
We'll pick up a little bit of fans. Everyone before the game is like East Coast, dead quiet. Like there were crickets off in the background. West Coast,
we
got
all about
West
now.
Coast.
We got some fans for East Coast now. I like it.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting.
It's good for us. We're both East Coast guys.
Yeah, we are.
You're from Maryland. I'm from Connecticut.
We could be West Coast guys too.
We could be West Coast guys.
We'll be bandwagon
It's
East
okay,
Coast All-Star. It's the All-Star game.
It's the All-Star game.
You don't, you have